A great response from the Bulls tonight against the team that really just outworked them on both ends of the floor last night. Tonight, they come in, made the necessary adjustments, changed their game plan to actually counter the Raptors' double teams on DeRozan, something they didn't really address at all last night, or at least guys were unable to actually step up on the offensive end when DeRozan was being hounded and simply could not get shots up. But tonight, it was kind of the same deal. Nick Nurse even said before the game that he was going to keep doubling DeMar, and when it was announced that Lavine was actually going to be in the lineup, his response to that was, we're just going to double him as well. Well, it didn't really work out that way because as much as you can try to double both DeMar and Zach at the same time, somebody is going to take advantage of it. And in this instance, it was Lavine. A phenomenal showing from Zach tonight. Believe it or not, it was his first 30-point game of the season. The Raptors were all over DeMar, so Zach was able to get his touches, was 11 for 20 from the floor tonight, 4 for 8 from 3, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. He did have 5 turnovers. Bulls, again, really bad tonight when taking care of the ball, 21 turnovers in total. But in a way, you almost come to expect that when going up against the Raptors, who are just so scrappy on the court. You can't have any lazy possessions against these guys. They will make you pay. But it's kind of a game you need from Zach after missing last night's game. Again, I'll continue to say it. I'm not a fan of the injury management aspect that the Bulls are trying to approach here with Lavine. If the guy feels fine and is healthy enough to play, let him play. Zach plays last night, and the Bulls likely look at taking both of these games against the Raptors. Every game is so important this year. But the good news is the Bulls won't have another back-to-back for a while. Anyway, as far as the rest of this game, things to call out. What I like seeing was the fact that Billy Donovan recognized adjustments needed to be made based on what he saw last night. Bulls needed to tailor their offense away from DeMar, or at least utilize the open man whenever DeMar would get doubled. And then, of course, not allowing so many second chance opportunities for the Raptors. Box out, clean the glass, and don't get careless with the ball. They did get careless with the ball at times in this game, but for the most part in the rest of those areas that needed to be addressed, the Bulls did that. And the reason I even say any of this and why it's important is that I feel more often than not, we have seen the Bulls just keep things as is and not make adjustments to their game plan based on what wasn't working in a prior game. Guys would still be doing the same thing. The offensive scheme remained the same. So to see that change and having the Bulls play much more in transition tonight, pushing the pace, actually moving the ball and basically meeting the Raptors' energy, they want to get scrappy and fight hard for loose balls. Bulls said, all right, we're going to do the same thing. And the energy level coming off of a back-to-back, though I know the Raptors, it was the same thing for them, was leaps and bounds better than what we saw last night from the Bulls. Rebounding tonight, the biggest issue last night in the Bulls not being able to secure rebounds and giving the Raptors so many second chance points. Bulls crushed the Raptors tonight on the boards, 49-23. Only 5 offensive rebounds for the Raptors for them compared to the 23 offensive boards they had last night. The Bulls moved the ball. 30 assists tonight compared to 20 the night before. The Bulls converted on their shots unlike last night, shooting 52% from the field, and the bench was great, which I'll talk about. Patrick Williams, another decent night. Got into foul trouble early, but then settled down a little. I'll honestly take him getting into foul trouble because it just means he's working hard on the defensive end and just needs to clean his ability to not create too much contact and either force a turnover or a bad shot. In time, though, he's still learning, and he continues to be more aggressive on offense. I actually thought his shot selection was much better tonight, too. Finished the game with 10 points on 4 for 8 shooting to go along with 6 rebounds. Vooch also had another solid game. Had some big buckets in the fourth quarter, 15 points, 13 rebounds, 7 for 14 shooting, 4 assists, 2 blocks. I still would like to see Vooch shoot the 3 ball a little less. He's just so much better in the post, and with no Drummond, I'd rather have him in the paint to get offensive boards for second chance opportunities rather than trying to space the floor, but it is what it is. Io was solid tonight. I just love how quickly he moves in transition when he realizes defenses are falling asleep a little, and he's great at finishing at the rim even when he's under pressure on a breakaway. Like, for a second-year player, he just continues to impress me with his confidence and willingness to handle the basketball. Tonight was 5 for 10, 2 for 7 from 3, 12 points, 4 rebounds. And then for DeMar DeRozan, it's weird seeing him get a single-digit scoring game in the box score, but honestly, it was kind of expected based on what we saw last night that the Raptors weren't going to let him have any easy looks. DeMar had 6 shot attempts all night. That's a season low for him on attempts. He was 2 for 6, finished the game with only 9 points, but he was getting it done in other areas, finding the open man when he was doubled, showed off his playmaking ability, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and he led all starters in box plus minus with a +7 despite his limited scoring. And hey, the bench mob showed out well tonight. Derrick Jones Jr. having 0 points last night and really struggled to finish at the rim because the Raptors have so many good rim protectors. He was a perfect 5 for 5, finished with 12 points, brought some energy, great defense. Javonte Green was great, 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Dude is still one of my favorite players on the team, knowing his role and what needs to be done on the court on both ends at all times. But the most impactful guys tonight coming off the bench have to be Dragic and Caruso. Believe it or not, both of these guys finished as a plus 18 on the night. That tells you how valuable right there they were when they were on the court. Caruso, for his defense and playmaking, only 4 points on 2 shot attempts, but 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in just 28 minutes of play. And then for Dragic, on the offensive end, 25 minutes, finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And the guy was hustling out there, putting in a ton of effort. You know, for a guy who's 36 and you maybe expect him to not be going so hard and 100% on every play because of the wear and tear on the body over the years, he's been playing like he's in his 20s with how fast and determined he is in getting to the ball. Like, you guys know me, I thought this was the weirdest signing for the Bulls of the offseason and felt like Dragic just was all but done and washed in terms of his overall career. But it looks like his offseason playing in Eurobasket has really helped his game, and he's looking like what we saw in his final season in Miami. Not saying he's looking like his prime self, but an impactful enough of a player that has been a huge contributor for the Bulls off the bench, especially when the Bulls are still without Lonzo Ball. So all in all, a great win for the Bulls, a great response and adjustment from last night. The Bulls are back to 500, 6-6 on the season. They're off tomorrow before they take on the Pelicans at the United Center, which should be fun. The Pelicans have been a fun team to watch with Zion back, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Valanciunas. I know they only have a 500 record, but they're a good team and the Bulls need to be on their A game going into this one. But until then, guys, have a great evening. Check out my NBA channel if you're interested. Link to that is in the description. And as always, be sure to subscribe to this channel as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.